Hello!
Hey!
So today, we have a little adventure ahead of us. I've got a fun fact for y'all that y'all might not know. This is Brienne, and Brienne has never seen any of the Marvel movies. You've seen none of them, right?
None of them.
None of them, not a single one.
Not
You
a
haven't
single
seen Iron Man,
No.
you haven't seen Captain America, you've seen nothing.
Nothing. Zero.
None of them. She's seen none of them, but today, her and I are going to watch Avengers Endgame. So if any of y'all have seen any of the Marvel movies or know anything about anything in current culture, Avengers Endgame is the culmination of, what did it say, 22
Yeah.
movies? Yeah, 22 interconnected films, all the Marvel movies, and she's seen none of them. So we're going to watch that, and we are going to see how she reacts to these movies. What are your expectations going into this? I don't know how you avoided all of these, but what are your expectations going into Avengers Endgame?
I don't have many expectations, but by the back of the packaging, it says twice in here that it's a once-in-a-lifetime film. And at the end it says prepared to be wowed, so I have high expectations, but as to what the storyline is going to be, I don't really have much expectations.
Yeah, so why do you think it's called Endgame?
Is it like a conclusion maybe of like all of the films, like they wrapped them all up, so it's like the
Okay.
last thing that they all do, but they're doing it together, so
Okay.
it's like ending with the bang type of
Is
situation.
ending the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Do you know who that is?
Captain America.
That's Captain America. Do you know who that is?
No. Iron Man.
You know, that is Iron Man.
Is it
okay.
really?
Yes, that is Iron Man. All right, I'm just gonna. Yeah. Okay. Do you know who this guy is? Right in the back.
I do not, but I feel
this
like
guy,
he has to be
yeah.
kind of important because his face is larger than the rest
Yes.
of them.
Okay. Do you know who this is?
No. His face looks familiar, but I don't know who it is.
Okay, that's Thor.
Thor. Got
Right.
it.
All right. Do you know who this is?
No.
Okay. What about this?
Mm-mm.
There.
No.
That person. This person?
Mm-mm.
Any of these other people?
No.
So the two people you know are Iron Man and Captain America.
Yep, and the raccoon from Guardians of the
Oh,
Galaxy.
the raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. All right, he's right there at the bottom. What about on the back here?
Well, there's Iron Man again.
Okay,
And you just said that was Thor, right?
that's Thor. Okay,
And I don't know any of
and
those.
that's Captain America right there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yes, there's
yeah.
a shield.
Okay, cool. So is there anything else you want us to know before we actually watch this movie and see how you react to it?
No, I think I'm good.
Do you have
I'm
any
ready
other expectations?
No expectations, but I'm ready to watch it.
Okay, all right. Well, let's do this.
Yes.
All right, we will check in with y'all in just a second.
Three hours later.
And we're back.
We're back.
You successfully made it through your first Marvel movie,
I did.
Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you like it?
It was pretty good. I think it'd be better if I had context in the movie, but given that I didn't have any type of context, it was actually very good.
Yeah, you seem like you were doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, give us a 2-sentence review of the movie. Like, what's your biggest takeaway?
Of like the storyline or like.
No, we'll get to storyline. Just of the what is your takeaway of the movie itself?
Well, I don't watch like a lot of action movies, and I would say that it was very like intriguing for someone who like doesn't watch a lot of action movies.
Okay.
I found like I was intrigued the entire time,
Okay.
and I also liked how like all of the different characters were intertwined. I think there was a lot of like character development and relationship, and I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Cool. Now, let's get to the story.
Okay.
What was the story?
What was the story?
Yeah. What was the main thing happening
Uh-huh.
in the movie?
They were trying to find the jewels for the glove.
The jewels for the glove.
Yes.
Okay.
And Thanos,
Thanos. Yeah.
he was like the bad person that was trying to make sure it didn't happen.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, actually, I've got some questions. I wrote down some questions for you throughout the movie because there were certain things that you said that were giving me ideas. Okay. Before we get to that, though, what scene stuck out to you the most? Like, just looking back, what is the scene that just, like, pops out in your mind?
I think I liked the part whenever all of the characters like had those portal things and they all came in. Like that was the most grand entrance I've ever seen.
Yeah. Do you know where they came from?
They're different lands?
Different lands, okay.
No, not really.
Okay. Cool. All right. We'll probably get to that a little bit too.
Okay.
What were you most confused by? I know that it probably seemed that you figured it out eventually, but the same, like when we were watching it, it seemed like the thing you were most confused by was Black Widow and Hawkeye, their whole like little fight scene thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you seemed a bit confused by that at first.
Yes.
Mainly because she didn't fully recognize why they were fighting. There was just some heartfelt conversation, and then they just started attacking each other.
Yes.
But then later on, when they were talking about her death and everything, you kind of pieced together like, oh, they were sacrificing themselves. You were confused because like it seemed like you thought that Hawkeye was just trying to kill himself and she was trying to stop him. And, and then you're like, well, jerk. Okay, but what was something else that like, was there anything that you found really confusing or like just lingering questions you have that like looking back, you're like, I have no idea why that was in the movie?
I think I had a lot of questions at the beginning, but like by the end of the movie, they kind of all answered themselves for the most part. I'm still confused as to why they were trying to sacrifice each other. Like, why were they? Why did they want to? What were they sacrificing themselves for?
Okay, so that one they were trying to get one of the stones, and it's called the Soul Stone, right? And so in order to get the stone, somebody has to like sacrifice themselves. Okay. So
got it.
Yeah, it's just part of like the rules, and they established that in like the movie before and stuff, like Infinity War.
Okay.
But okay, let's get to these questions. Okay, you summarized the plot of the movie.
Okay.
But here's my question. What was the main problem going into the movie? Like, why did they need to defeat Thanos? And why did they need the stones? Like, what was actually the problem?
It was something to do with the vanishing people.
Yes.
Or something
and
of that nature.
How did people vanish?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. And do you know, like, how many people vanished? Or...
I mean, I remember seeing the memorial thing with all the people's names. Those were all the people that vanished, and there was a lot of them. So a lot of people did. Yes.
Yeah, but you don't know, like, what on earth caused that? Anything else? Okay. Okay, so in the previous movie, Infinity War, well, the previous Avengers movie, right? Thanos had been doing basically what they were doing this entire movie. He was gathering the stones together because his whole thing was he wanted to wipe out half the population.
Okay.
And so at the end of that movie, he got the stones, snapped his fingers, and poof, half the population disappears.
Okay.
And so that includes like a lot of the superheroes and stuff like that too.
Okay.
So that's the context of this movie.
Okay.
You know,
I think he said that at the end too.
Yeah.
He talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did, but you probably just didn't put them together at the time, because But yeah, so that's the context to where it's like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, so that's the main problem. That's everybody vanished. Okay, next question. Why did Iron Man not like anybody at the beginning of the movie? Because that was a question that you were asking. Yeah. You were saying, why does Iron Man not seem to like anybody? Do you have any insight into that?
The way he acted, it seems like they betrayed him in some way. That's the way that it came off to me, but I don't really know the true reason why.
Okay. And I'm not going to spoil that, because some of that I want you to figure out when we actually go back and rewatch all these movies and stuff. But, okay, so just betrayal. Right?
Yes, that's what it seems like.
Okay. You eventually figured this one out too, but who was Nebula?
Thanos' daughter.
Thanos' daughter,
yes.
Right? Yeah. Because I remember that was actually something that I found that interesting, because I've honestly never really cared about Nebula that much. But she plays a really significant role in this movie.
Yes.
And I kind of didn't really piece that together until I think I'd seen the movie again. Because at first I was like, okay, yeah, she's just a character. But then when we were watching it, you were asking a lot of questions about her. Like, you could tell this person's very significant. And for me, I was like, I don't even really think about it that much. But yeah, so Thanos' daughter. Okay. Why did they have to time travel?
To get the rocks.
To get the rocks.
Yes.
And why did they have to time travel? Like, why did they have to go to these certain places?
Wasn't it because they had the particles or whatever, and the stones were like in the same spot at the same time or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's also why they had to go back, like, where Iron Man and Captain America had to go even further back. And that actually was my last question, because pretty much after this, you started piecing everything together. But the one question I don't know if you ever actually solved was, who was the man that Iron Man was talking to whenever they traveled back? Remember?
With the suitcase?
Yeah, the man with the suitcase that he hugged and everything.
Yeah. I don't know, but he seemed very important. That was a very like endearing
Yes.
hug.
Yeah.
And he told him like everything's gonna be all right or something like that. So he seemed like someone that's important. Howard, right?
Howard, yes.
They both have the
They're
same name.
both named Howard.
But I don't know what his significance was. But he seemed very important just by the way that they
Yes.
spoke to each other.
Yeah. So if you had to take a guess, who do you think that would be?
Is it like a partner of his?
No,
a
it's actually it's his
relative?
dad.
Oh, I said
Yeah.
a relative. Okay,
Yeah,
so his dad.
And his dad had died a while back and stuff, so that's why it shook him up to see him, because like
Okay.
like he was just down there to get the stone,
Uh-huh.
and then his dad just shows up, and that's why he almost like forgot the briefcase and stuff.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
yeah, because that was his dad, and then like his dad, whenever they were in the elevator, his dad was talking about how his wife was pregnant with a kid, and he
Which
was
was
like,
him.
which was him, yeah, and he's like saying, oh my gosh, and then he was giving his dad advice on how to raise a kid and stuff.
Got it.
And so that's why the dad was
Okay.
kind of confused, like whenever like he gives him like a hug, he's like, why are you hugging me like this? But yeah, that was his dad.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was kind of entertaining for me because like I thought the moment they said their names were Howard, you'd like be like, I get it.
I thought it was just a coincidence.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
named Howard.
Yeah, but after that, she pretty much started piecing everything together. That was like the last thing, and then everything else, she was like, oh, okay, I'm making these connections and stuff. But yeah, so you made it through.
I did.
The most recent Avengers movie, and now we have to basically go back and rewatch all of the.
22.
Maybe we'll be able to skip a few. Maybe we'll be able to skip like the ones that aren't as important. But no, we'll see. I mean, there's a few I haven't seen.
Okay.
So maybe we'll actually get to experience those for the first time and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna experience all of them for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so any last takeaways?
I really enjoyed it, and
You
I'm
enjoyed it.
excited to watch it once I watch all of the other ones that came before it to like
Yeah.
rewatch it because I think I'll notice details that I didn't before.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. And then also, we're gonna have to watch till after the credits in most of the movies because there's in-credit scenes.
Okay, and they play a role in.
They do.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Sometimes they're just totally random.
Okay.
And those are the frustrating ones because you're like you waited through this whole thing and then you're like really. But yeah, so we made it through.
We did.
All right. Have y'all seen the Avengers movies? All right. Dang it, Mom!
Interrupted.
Wow, we were right at the end. Right at the end. No, but we made it through. Great job. You made it through the movie. Now we're gonna have to go rewatch many hours of movies. But it'll be good.
Yes.
So, hope y'all enjoyed, everybody.